Picture this. You were looking for a used Blazer about 10 years ago and found one for $8 grand. Today, that same Blazer is going for over $25,000. And there's one specific version that hit $40,000 at auction. If you've got one of these sitting in your garage, congratulations, you're sitting on a gold mine. The 90s S10 Blazer wasn't just another compact SUV. It was the symbol of an era when Chevrolet still made cars with real personality. And while everyone was chasing Japanese SUVs, a few smart folks held on to these American beauties. Result, today, they're laughing all the way to the bank. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, hit that button down below because you're about to discover which of these 5 Blazers is worth more than a brand new BMW.
First Blazer, S10 Blazer Tahoe 4x4, 1991 to 1994. Let's start with the most iconic one, the Tahoe. This was the top-of-the-line S10 Blazer, and man, what a machine! 4.3 Vortec V6 putting out 200 horsepower. Might not sound like much today, but back then, it was serious business. The differentiator? It came with real 4x4 capability, not those fancy electronic gimmicks we see today. What impresses me most about the Tahoe is the construction. Robust steel frame, suspension that could handle anything, and an interior that, despite being simple, had build quality that lasted decades. Today, a Tahoe 4x4 in good condition is going for around $22,000 to $28,000. A restored one? I've seen them go over 35 grand. And here's something most people don't know. The 91 Tahoe had a manual 4-wheel drive system that was practically bulletproof. While today's electronic systems are constantly having issues, this one is still running strong after 30 years.
Second Blazer, S10 Blazer SS, 1996 to 1997. Now for the crown jewel, the SS. This one is rarer than hen's teeth. Chevrolet only produced about 3,500 SS units in 96 and 97, and man, everyone that shows up today is treated like a relic. What made the SS special? First, it came lowered from the factory, something that was revolutionary at the time. Second, the 4.3 Vortec engine came tuned and delivered performance that left many sports sedans in the dust. Third, the SS had unique visual details, exclusive alloy wheels, spoiler, distinctive bumpers, and an interior that screamed sportiness. Today, an original SS is going for between $30,000 to $45,000, depending on mileage and condition. I saw one with only 30,000 miles sell for 48 grand at a Barrett-Jackson auction. And look, that's no exaggeration. These SS models are sought after worldwide. The interesting thing is that back then, many people thought the SS was kind of pointless. Why lower an SUV, they said. Today, those same critics are paying a fortune to own one.
Third Blazer, S10 Blazer Sport 4x4, 1993 to 1995. The Sport 4x4 is the one that flew under the radar for a long time, but today it's being rediscovered by collectors. It was an intermediate version between the base and the Tahoe, but with a set of options that made it unique. What stood out about the Sport was the perfect balance. It had the toughness of the 4x4, but with refinements you wouldn't find in the base versions. The interior came with optional leather seats, premium sound system, and air conditioning, luxuries that weren't common in compact SUVs of that era. Mechanically, it used the same 4.3 V6 as the others, but with a slightly different tune that favored low-end torque. Result? It was a trail machine and at the same time comfortable for daily driving. Today, a well-preserved Sport 4x4 is going for between $18,000 to $25,000. Might not seem like much compared to the SS, but consider that 5 years ago, you could buy one for 12 grand. That's over 100% appreciation in half a decade. And here's a secret. The 1994 Sport 4x4s came with a limited slip differential option that was pure German engineering. Anyone who has one of these has a traction system that puts many modern SUVs to shame. Fourth Blazer, S10 Blazer LT Two-door 1995 to 1997. Here we have a sleeper that's appreciating big time, the two-door LT. Back then, everyone wanted the four-door version for practicality. Result? Way fewer two-door LTs were made, and today they're the most sought after. The two-door LT had a cleaner, more proportional look. It looked like a real SUV, not a disguised sedan. And functionally, it was structurally more rigid than the four-door version, which resulted in better handling. The engine was the familiar 4.3 V6, but in the 96 and 97 LTs, it came with the second-generation Vortex system, which was more efficient and powerful. Plus, these LTs had a refined suspension system that offered comfort without losing off-road capability. Current values? A well-preserved two-door LT is going for between $20,000 and $30,000. One in showroom condition can easily exceed $35,000. And look, the trend is only upward because these two doors are increasingly rare to find in good condition.
Fifth is the S10 Blazer Base 4x2 V6 1990 to 1992. Finally, let's talk about the most underestimated of all, the base 4x2 version from the early years. But how can a base version be valuable, you're probably thinking? That's exactly where the gold is. These first Blazers, from 1990 to 1992, were pure bone. No frills, no complicated electronics, just the essentials. 4.3 TBI V6 that was an indestructible block, 5-speed manual transmission that lasted forever, and mechanical simplicity that any shop could maintain. The big thing about these early ones is that they represent the pure DNA of the S10 Blazer. They were the ones that defined what this American icon would become. And today, with all the 90s nostalgia, these basic versions are being seen as the most authentic. Prices? A restored base 4x2 is going for between $15,000 to $22,000. Might seem modest compared to the others, but consider that in 2015, you could buy one for $6,000. That's almost 300% appreciation in less than a decade. And there's more. These base models are favorites for restoration and customization projects. People buy them, lovingly restore them, and create true works of art. Some of these restorations end up being worth over $40,000.
So there you have it, folks. 5 versions of the S10 Blazer that went from common used cars to real investments on wheels. If you've got one of these in your garage, hold on tight. If you're thinking about buying one, don't waste time. Every day that passes, they get more expensive and harder to find in good condition. Hit that like button if this video was helpful and tell me in the comments, do you own one of these Blazers? Or do you know someone who sold one and is regretting it to this day? I want to hear your stories. And stay tuned because next week, I'm showing you 5 trucks from the 2000s that are appreciating like crazy. See you next time.